All gas, no brake.
And now we have liftoff. Welcome into the Now We Have Liftoff New York Jets podcast. And I am your host, John June, on this lovely, lovely Tuesday. And you know why it feels so lovely. I got to bring my guy, Frank Jim Piccolo, in so we could break it all down. Brother Frank, how we feeling today, man?
Yo, first and foremost, good to be back with you, bro. It feels like it's almost been a month since we chopped it up about our Jets.
I mean, we've chopped it up definitely for sure, but since we've done it on this platform here, it has been quite some time. Too much time there, brother. But I hope you enjoyed your anniversary trip. I know you did, but I know you enjoy this pod that much more. There, we've got obviously a Jets win to discuss, man. And so shout out to the missus out here saying, hey babe. So, you know, we got to discuss the Jets' thrilling victory, 34-31 over the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals were probably the hottest team in the league coming into week 8. The Jets were double-digit underdogs here, playing with a backup quarterback in Mike White, playing without their top receiver in Correydavis. Again, double-digit underdogs here, but they were able to get this one done and end up beating a very, very good Cincinnati Bengals team that will probably most likely be in the playoffs. And the obviously the main story out of this game is the performance of Mike White. I mean,
Mike effing White.
Mike White, bro. I mean, the guy was 37 of 45. 405 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions that were really not entirely his fault, but also had a fabulous 2-point conversion that put the Jets up 34-31. Frank, what were your thoughts, man, of this performance by Mike White?
It looked like Mac Jones. Like, that's the first thing I thought. You know, Charlie checked down. But, like, it was good to see for me, it was good to see LaFleur start looking like the offensive coordinator that we look forward to getting when we got him. Like, you saw a double reverse pass. You saw a Philly special. You saw a couple end arounds. You know, you saw, like, a lot of usage out of Michaelcarter, which we've been screaming for. Like, Michaelcarter had a great game. Like, as good as a game that
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Trust me. Don't worry. I bet we will. But as good as a game as Mike White had, I don't know if he has that game without Michaelcarter.
Definitely, man. You know, Mike White had a fabulous performance. I mean, we've got Mike Q coming saying Mike White for president here. But Mike White had a fabulous performance, man. I mean, but like you said, it's like everybody else around him was that much better on Sunday, especially Mike LaFleur calling the offense. I mean, I don't know if it was, again, maybe it's the fact that it was his 7th game calling offensive plays in the NFL. Maybe it was the fact that he was sitting up in the booth. Maybe the fact that Zach Wilson wasn't the quarterback. We don't know exactly what it was, but whatever it was, Mike LaFleur was hands down his best performance as a play caller all season long.
Yeah, no question, right? And I think it helps that he's up in the box, right? Because you got the whole vision of what's going on. You could see how the plays are developing. Yeah, man, it was just good to watch. It was fun to watch, right? Like, how many times have we talk about before about how unenjoyable the Jets have been? You know, last year, the early parts of this year, minus the Titans game, it was a fun game. Like, him calling those offensive plays like just made it fun. Even if they didn't work, right? Even if they lost, I still would have been coming on here and be like, you know what? The Jets lost. Yeah, it sucks, but it was a fun game. The Jets kept me on the edge of my seat until the very end. And as a fan, this year in the rebuild, like that's all you're asking for.
Yeah, man. Honestly, that's all you could ask for. That's all we've asked for, right? Is to just be able to watch the product on the field and have joy when we watch it, right? Whether we win or lose, just coming out of that saying, "Wow, that was fun to watch." And we had not had that outside of, like you said, the Titans game. That was a lot of fun. But again, going into this game with the circumstances, being their backs against the wall, they had faced adversity a lot. And this was something I had talked about last week on the solo pod was, talking about how they faced adversity from, how they, seeing how Robertsalah would be able to deal with the adversity coming off a 54-13 loss, or I don't know wherever that score was, coming off that loss against New England. How would you respond going up against Cincinnati, a really good football team? And I love the way they responded, even seeing adversity in this game, getting a lead early in the game, losing that lead, right? Having a couple turnovers, before the half, you put a touchdown on the board, then that gets taken down. Then you got to go put another touchdown on the board, and you're down 17-14. And then, you're in the fourth quarter, right? You're down, I forget, I think they were down 10 points in the fourth quarter. They end up outscoring the Bengals 17-7 in the fourth quarter alone, right? Like this was a full team win, an entire team win. It's been awesome to watch, man. It really has. Or at least that game was awesome to watch. And Mike Q says he's watched it at least 3 times. So it was definitely
me too.
Man.
But you didn't even talk about the goal line stand after Mike White throws that first interception. That goal line stand, I think it started at the 3. No, it started at the 1.
No, it was at the ball was at the 1 yard line.
The ball was at the 1 because Elijah Moore
and Denzel Mims decide that they want to hustle on an interception and
Great
play some football, man.
Great play by them because they pretty much held the Cincinnati out of the end zone to make the defense got that goal line stand. Mosley had a good play. Quinnen had the sack that brought them back to the 15 and on 4th down. And then for some reason, Cincinnati decided not to kick the field goal against the Jets. But
I felt maybe they felt like, you got the ball on the 1 yard line, you got to get in. You got to, if you're a good football team, you got to be better than the Jets in that moment. I mean, obviously Jamar Chase had it was a drop. We'll call it what it was. Dropped the ball on 3rd down. But either way, just to see the Jets, like there was times where you're like, there's, this game is going to go away from them, right? Like, especially in that fourth quarter, you felt like, especially at the end of the game when they had to run out the clock, right? And it's like they couldn't even do that.
How bad was that foul?
It was so bad. I mean, all of it from, the first down, Elijah Moore runs out of bounds after gaining like 6 yards.
And then he falls down. Bro, I was losing my mind. I was like,
no, you got to twist it. It was Michael Carter that fell down.
Yeah.
Two plays later. But no, you go from, hear me out. You go from Elijah Moore running out of bounds. The very next play, Mike White drops back to pass, incomplete. And then the third play, Michael Carter falls down ahead of the sticks. And
behind the sticks, not ahead of the sticks. He was behind the sticks.
Yeah, behind the sticks. Sorry.
And I knew what he was doing, but get the first down. The game's over.
Get the first down.
That's most important.
This isn't college. It won't stop if you get the first down. We promise.
Oh God.
But yeah, we got to talk about some other performances from this game. We talked about Michael Carter. We spoke about the bad. Let's talk about some of the good now. 172 total yards of offense, 77 rushing yards on 15 attempts, had 9 catches on 14 targets for 95 receiving yards. This was the breakout game for Michael Carter for sure. Obviously, Frank, I'm a huge fan of Michael Carter going back to his college days. Hey, man, we are. This pod is brought to you by TPPN, but today is the TPTNPP pod. The no pants pod essentially is what this
just
pod
went
is.
with that. You just killed it. The joke.
No, man, the no pants pod. That's what it is. Because if you know back, obviously, to going back to when Michael Carter was drafted, I made a joke that the pants were off in that moment in the fourth round. So Michael Carter absolutely killed it on Sunday, man, showing that burst, the balance. He's a smaller guy, but he runs with really good power and explosiveness. So Michael Carter for vice president, absolutely, he's got my vote. Frank, what were your thoughts of Michael Carter's performance here, man?
Bro, like I haven't seen that many screens by a Jets team since like Richie Anderson in 1998. Like that game kind of reminded me of that playoff game that the Jets played. I don't even know the year. It was when they blew out the Colts 41-0 in that playoff game where they just dumped it off to Richie Anderson like every other play. But with that being said, Richie Anderson's not Michael Carter. Like that play where he like did like this, where he spun around 3 times, kept his balance, and got another 4 yards. I was like, oh, I was like, this guy. Like now I see why you compared him to like a Kamara and those types of running backs, because he's so elusive. But what he doesn't get credit for is that he's so strong when he runs in between those tackles. Like he could be a really important piece for this team going forward once he figures out that he has to get the first down before he falls.
No, man, Michael Carter, absolutely. I love that you brought that up, man, because I comped him to Alvin Kamara, and I said again, don't hear what I'm not saying. I comped him to Alvin Kamara in terms of the skill set, not the talent level, right? He's not the talent that Alvin Kamara is, but if you want to use him in some of those ways, like you said, he's got great power. The word that really sticks out to me is contact balance, right? And he's got that, the ability to, he's got to keep his balance, even though he's bouncing off of defenders, almost like pinballing off of them. He had one run Sunday, but he had one run on Sunday where he's running down the sideline, almost gets tackled, puts out his arm, keeps his legs up, and then, continues, getting another 3-4 yards after that. He was absolutely phenomenal. We saw Elijah Moore have his best game as a pro, 6 catches on 6 targets, 67 yards. The usage there was great. We saw at least 2 jet sweep passes to Elijah Moore. We saw a rush attempt to Elijah Moore. We saw him obviously involved in the Philly special play that they ran. So I thought the offense was phenomenal. The defense, having CJ Mosley makes such a difference.
Resign him now. I know he's got one more year on his contract. Resign him now. The defense doesn't work without him. It doesn't.
It absolutely doesn't work without him.
And I think having Jared Davis back helped, right?
Yeah.
Like he had some good stops. He had a pass breakup in the flat, which I thought was nice to see, because I was always under the assumption that he couldn't cover a blanket. But so that was good to see.
Don't blankets cover you?
You know what I meant. Like those jokes don't faze me now because the Jets had a great win. I'd be coming over the screen if the Jets lost this game. But we had a Jabari Zuniga sighting, and then the play by Shaq Lawson, which I really want to get into. Like the interception was great and all, but for me as a defensive player, for him to diagnose that a screen pass was coming because he saw that the lineman punched him and then left him, and he knew something was coming back at him, and for him not to get like so excited to try to get a quarterback sack, especially in that moment when you know that you need that ball back. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, right? Like if you watch it, because I actually watched the game again, they actually ran screens to Lawson's side like two or three times prior to that interception, and all three times, the previous times he's almost there, but he doesn't quite get it. And this time he times it perfectly. He feels it. He knows it's coming. He's seen it at least two or three times before. And it's at that point in the fourth quarter, you're like, oh, I know what this play, I know what play this is. And he's there to tap it up and get that interception. And I know the defensive line is going to get a ton of credit for the game that they played, as they should. But I think a lot of that credit needs to go to the back end. If you look a lot of these sacks, a lot of these pressures, if they weren't because of a blitz, they were because of coverage sacks. The brandonechols, he was undermatched. I mean, you could have told me him against T. Higgins or Jamar Chase would be a mismatch. He completely held his own. Brycehall, obviously, we know what he's been. Michaelcarter, he's been phenomenal. But even Marcus May was great in coverage. He was also great in run support. Ashton Davis had a really good game as well.
That's the key right there. That's the key right there, though, bro. Sorry to interrupt. Like, Ashton Davis had such an up and down rookie campaign. To see him have a game like he had makes me feel good because, in previous week we talked about Michael Carter II. We've talked about Hall. Eccles, he's a young player. He's going to improve. If the Jets are going to be confident and move away from Marcus May, Ashton Davis is going to have to take that step up. And it looks like that's possible with the way that he's starting to play, the way he's getting comfortable in this Ulbrich and Salah scheme.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, man, because you watch Marcus May fly around, man, and it's honestly like, I want that guy in the defense, man. I just, watching him with Mosley and Davis, with Bryce Hall and Michael Carter, watching these guys play together, it's like, how can we not keep that together? Obviously, it's going to become a money thing. It's going to come down to how much they want to, allocate to that position. I tell you right now, they're getting away with murder in terms of how cheap these corners are going to be for the next 3 to 4 years. So, I mean, you've got three quality, I'll say two quality corners. Brandonechols looks like, again, you look at him, he's not playing poorly for I would say for even a defensive back by any means, but for a rookie, I think that he's doing really well. Obviously, again, playing in a defensive backfield that's so young, right? So, yeah, I thought the defense was phenomenal. I thought the game plan was phenomenal. Let's see how they can do, coming up this week against Indianapolis. But anything else, Frank, about this game that you want to cover?
Keelancole, that grab,
the catch that didn't happen.
Yeah, it feels like the Jets always have like two plays a year where the Jets make great plays that are turned back. I just thought that was a great effort by him. Oh, Denzel Mims dropping the end zone. Yeah, let's talk about that.
We could talk about it, but we could also talk about Denzel Mims' performance the whole game. Wait, what is your point? Let me just let you make your point before I go down this rabbit hole.
So Correydavis is hurt, so which means that Mims is going to should get more reps, should get more of an opportunity. I just think a player like Mims, who's striving to get more playing time, right? He's begging to get more playing time. You have an opportunity to get a touchdown, and you drop the ball, a terrible drop, hit him right in the shoulder pads. And like, I don't think you could do that. Like, and me and you talked about it yesterday, and I get your points. Like, you can't kill the guy, but I'm gonna kill him. You just have to. You just have to catch that ball. You can't take points off the board.
You got to catch that ball, but at the same time, right? That's Denzel Mims' first drop all year. He's only had 9 targets, but he's caught 66% of his passes. He's played well in limited opportunities, right? So I'm not going to kill him for dropping one ball. If he drops that ball, on 1st and 10, you're not going to kill him. You're only killing him right now because he dropped a touchdown, right? And so it is what it is. But we've also had
context matters.
We've had other receivers that their drops led to turnovers. So at least we're not in that realm. But let's also talk about Denzel Mims had a big first. He had a nice catch and run to convert a first down early in the game. He also, on Michael Carter's touchdown, if you look, he gets a really nice block on Jesse Bates, and slows Jesse Bates down enough where Michael Carter is able to make a move on him and make a miss. And so Denzel Mims overall, I thought played a good game. The coaching staff or the organization's obviously still high on him. They've been fielding trade calls for not more than 2 weeks now, and they haven't budged. He actually started in the game, got a decent amount of playing time. I could see him playing more as the season progresses and having some kind of impact on this team, because you just watch him again. You watch what he did on Sunday, and you're like, wow, this, every time he touches the ball, this guy makes plays.
Except if it's in the end zone.
You're like literally just a jerk.
It's what I do. What can I say?
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't like you. So we'll just
lies.
We'll just move forward. If Frank has nothing left, then we'll move forward with this next segment. So Frank, why don't you tell the people about it? Well, it usually helps if you're not on mute.
Yeah, that's a beer for you, isn't it? This next segment is brought to you by DraftKings. NFL fans hungry for a big win this week? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has you covered. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and if they do, you win $200 in free bets. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, don't fret. DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot of millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sports app now. Use promo code TPPN. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and win $200 in free bets. If they win, you win with promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. An official sports betting partner of the NFL, must be 21 years or older, New Jersey, Indiana, Pennsylvania only, new customers only, minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required, one per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And as always, this segment is brought to you by DraftKings, and that's where this line comes from as well. DraftKings Sportsbook. The New York Jets travel to Indianapolis to take on the 3-5 Indianapolis Colts. The New York Jets are 2-5. The Jets are 10.5-point underdogs here. The over-under on this game is 45.5 points. It is Thursday night football too, so that's interesting there. Frank, the Jets are coming off of a thrilling win here. We talked about this last time. What happens when they come off of this thrilling win? This time they don't have to travel all the way to London. They only have to travel to Indianapolis. So how do you think that they respond this week against this Indianapolis team? And do you think that they can cover this 45.5 point or this, 10.5 point spread?
I don't know. The only good thing is that Indy plays the same type of defense that Cincy plays. So I think there's going to be some opportunity for Michael Carter to go off again. like, I don't know. Like, Salah talked about it in his post-game presser, the roller coaster that this team is going to go through because the team is so young. Like, as the fan in me, I want to say that the Jets are going to ride this wave of Mike White, and Mike White's going to throw for 300 yards and another 2 scores, and the Jets win. But the football guy in me that knows football says the Colts probably win and cover the spread.
So I come at this a few different ways, right? And I'm like the same. I have the same thoughts that you do, right? Like the Jets fan in me wants to say, "Oh, Mike White, greatest quarterback ever since Joe Namath," right? Like he's gonna go out, he's gonna throw for 400 yards again. But being realistic, I have to understand. While there's a similar style of defense here in Indianapolis, Matt Eberflus is I think a really good defensive coach. So I think he's going to come up. There's a game of film here on Mike White where nobody had that prior to this game. So I think that there's going to be an opportunity here for the Colts to, scheme up some stuff against Mike White here, maybe take away some of those short plays, force him to go down the field because we didn't really see him do that. I think we saw him attack down the field just once on a play to Elijahmoore that they didn't convert. So, I'm curious to see how he bounces back on a short week, coming off of, the win and the performance by him. So, but at the same time, this Colts team is 3-5. Carson Wentz has not played well. He has not played well at all. And this defense that we have could get after Carson Wentz a little bit. And the only in terms of weapons for the Colts is either it's going to be Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman Jr. I'm sure that Michael Pittman Jr., he's only one receiver. The Jets have done well against that position, especially those outside receivers. So I think they could continue to have some success there against Michael Pittman Jr., force Carson Wentz into some turnovers. I think Jonathan Taylor makes a big play here or there. He's an explosive back. I could see Nyheim Hines. If there's one thing where the Jets have been getting killed by, it's running backs in the pass game. I could see Nyheim Hines having an impact there. So ultimately, I see the Jets covering the 10.5 points because I just don't think the Colts are that good of a football team right now. But I do think that ultimately they will lose this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like the Jets they're just not good enough of a football team right now to it's a quick turnaround, right? So that might it's hard to tell with such a young team if the quick turnaround helps or hurts them, right? Like I think on a veteran team it would hurt them more, but I think on a young team, I don't think the short turnaround hurts them that much. I think what can hurt them is that we don't know if George Fant is playing this week.
Yeah, God help Mike White if Chuma Edoga has to start a game at left tackle.
He didn't look bad, bro. He didn't look bad. Bro, and is it just me? He looks a lot thicker this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really check the girth on Chuma Edoga. I haven't checked it and compared it to previous years, but I think this was, we didn't talk about them, and shame on us. Shame on you, Frank, because you're the guy that prides yourself on being a former offensive lineman. The offensive line probably had their best performance of the year on Sunday.
Well, that could probably be because Mike White was getting the ball ridiculously fast out of his hand. It's like 1-2 boom, 1-2 boom.
Yeah. Also, but I feel like Connor McGovern played his best game to date.
That's not hard to do.
Not hard to do. I get it. Elijah Veratucker had.
You know what they say about broken clocks, right?
Elijah Veratucker had a phenomenal game as well. The Jets, some news, Jets traded for Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, a guard from the Kansas City Chiefs. They traded away tight end Daniel Brown. So
thank God.
Yes, because I'm hopeful that this means that we don't have to see GVR the coolest thing GVR has done all year
was the
is
slide?
that slide that he did on the 2-point conversion.
So I heard you last week when you were ranting about Connor McGovern and vanroten about how they're probably nice guys, but nice guys doesn't necessarily mean that you're good football players. Bro, that sounded like conversations that we've had off air when I just go into my rants about how bad these two are. Like, it's almost impossible for McGovern to be as bad as he is. Like, and I know they had a good game, and that's all well and good.
It's not because he's this bad.
Yeah, I know. But when I see him, I get so like when I watched that Patriots game back like 3 times, and I'm like, bro, do you not know how to pick up a twist? Is that too difficult for you? Like, does your brain not comprehend that? Like I get what Cincinnati did. They're 4-3. They don't blitz. They don't run stunts. So it's not that difficult, not that hard. You know, and I get that Bill Belichick is a defensive guru, but it's a twist. It's a stunt. Like, teams have run that before. Like, it's not like the 1986 Bears are reinventing the 4-6 defense. Like, come on. Oh, but that's why. But bro, that's why I wanted the Jets in the offseason to pick up Lindsley because of how bad McGovern is.
Yeah. Well, I guess we both gave our take on their upcoming game against the Indianapolis Colts Thursday night. Got to get into the locks, and you lost last week.
I did not. I didn't pick last week. I wasn't on.
You didn't. You're right.
You just assumed that I would pick the Cardinals.
Well, in my brain, that was exactly what happened. I think I picked Buffalo.
I think we both have to pick 2.
We both have to pick 2. All right. Sounds good to me. I'll let you go first, Frank.
Oh, what a gentleman. I am going to pick the Bills at plus 14.
Bills at plus 14. That's interesting. How dangerous do I want to get? Oh, give me give me Dallas minus 9.5 over the Denver Broncos.
And give me the Chargers at minus 2 over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Give me the New England Patriots at minus 4 against the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh. Let's go Pats this week, huh? I think you got to root for the Pats this week. You need Carolina to lose, improve that draft position.
Oh, okay.
Right? Am I wrong?
I mean, I'm not rooting for Carolina. I'm not rooting for New England. This was more just about like Belichick versus Sam Darnold.
Is he hurt? Is Sam hurt?
He is in concussion protocol. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yep.
Well, oh, excuse me. Sorry, this is not my first time doing this, but it'll be my last time doing it for this week on this show. And with that being said, make sure you check us out at liftoff_NYJ on Twitter, at Now We Have Liftoff on Instagram. Check out Frank Jim Piccolo at Frankie Bots with a Z on Twitter. Frankie G53 on Instagram. You can find me at JR Football Nerd everywhere. Until next time, y'all, have a good one. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're out of here.
Peace.